Hey guys, welcome to T's Creative Corner. My name's T, and in today's video, I am doing something new. I've decided that I want to do Sketch Sesh, which is where I'll just be sketching in my sketchbook and talking about random things like art, my life, but I thought this video, to kick things off, I talk a little bit about who I am and what I do, and how I got to doing this. So you guys will also tell that I am not in my corner today. I am actually in my living room working on the table that me and my boyfriend built together. First, let me just talk about the sketch real quick. I'm using my hardcover journal, 5.5 by 8, with 72 sheets, 110 GSM white sketchbook that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I've had it for almost 10 months now. I got it in July of last year when I went to my first Hobby Lobby, and I don't think I really sketched in it up until December of this last year, and that's when I really got into sketching in it more and more. Every day. I brought it with me everywhere. I still do. And unfortunately, this is actually going to be my last sketch in this sketchbook because I am on my last 2 pages. But that's okay. Maybe I'll do a sketchbook flip through, but my next sketch sesh will be starting my new sketchbook, which I already picked out and I'm really excited about. But I'm just starting the sketch real quick with my Pentel 0.5 mechanical pencil. And I'm just sketching out the shape very roughly. While I'm doing that, I'm going to talk about who I am. And my name is T. It's my nickname. I got it in high school because there were 3 girls in my class who had the similar name as me. They weren't exactly the same, but we would all get confused because no one really knew how to say our names. So it'd be like, what? No. So my nickname was T, but I didn't want it to be just the letter T. I wanted it to be different, unique. So I'm like, call me T, but spell it T-E-A, like the drink. And it's just stuck with me. Everyone calls me T, or they call me TT. And even my boss now for where I work calls me TT. And I just like it. My real name, though, is Tanaya. I am from New England, specifically Massachusetts, born and raised, and I am half white, half Puerto Rican, though I was mostly raised white, even though my mom is Puerto Rican and she was the parent that I was with through most of my childhood. She just never chose to teach me Spanish, but I did learn how to cook Spanish, and my boyfriend appreciates it very much. I do believe that I am artistically talented because of my genes. Both sides of my family are into art or crafts. My dad did cartoons, and my grandmother on my dad's side painted birdhouses and rocks, and she did paintings. And then on my mom's side, my mom does wood carvings and wood projects, and then my grandmother on my mom's side does crafting. Like, she's the one who taught me how to do scrapbooking and baking, and right now she's doing cards, and I've been trying to get her into making it her business because she's going to be retiring from her full-time job soon, and she loves to make cards, and I love to see her make cards, and it's just something I wish she would pursue more and more rather than it just be her hobby. Like, make it her career, do something that she loves for the rest of her life. And I feel the same way about my mom. She's been a stay-at-home mom since my brother was born. He's now 11, and she just recently got into doing wood crafts and carvings and all these projects. I want to push her and help her as much as I possibly can, just like she's done for me since I was like 5, because that is when I actually started getting into art. I still have some of my paintings and drawings from when I was that little that I'll probably show in another video, just to show my progression from when I was this old to where I am now. I am very close with my mom's side of the family and my mom, where after my grandparents passed away on my dad's side, I didn't really see him and he moved, so we didn't really stay in touch after that. But I still have some of his cartoons that he drew that I will also show. And I'm gonna get my mom and my grandmother to give me something so that way I can show you guys what they do too. But yeah, since I was 5, I've been drawing and sketching. I think my first portrait was of my mom when I was in 2nd grade for a Mother's Day gift. And I have no idea if she still has it. I really got into drawing when I was in middle school though. That is when I decided that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because I actually went to an art school, an art academy. Not really an art academy, but it was a public school where everything was focused around art and including art in all our projects and assignments. And it was probably the best experience that I could have had as a middle schooler. It did suck though that it was such a small school. Like my graduating class, I think was like 30 of us in 8th grade. So we all knew each other very well by the time that we met in 5th grade till we all left in 8th grade. 4 years with the same 30 people. Got very old. Very, very old. I'm now going to ink up my drawing with my Artify alcohol markers. They're kind of a Copic dupe that I got because I didn't want to commit to Copics just yet. In black, Cool Gray 3, Cool Gray 4, and Cool Gray 6. I'm using my Tombow Twin Tip black/gray from my Art Snacks from last month. My Fine Liner Graphics brush marker that I also received in a past Art Snacks, but I did not record that drawing. And my Jelly Roll 08 that I'm going to use for highlights. But I learned a lot in those 4 years about myself and my art. I learned proportions for portraits and the grid method. I learned color theory and how to mix colors properly. I tried different mediums I probably never would. Like I used clay, I did paper mache, I did oil pastels, I did acrylic, painting, I did charcoal, I did watercolor. I learned how to do stained glass for a history project, which I wish I could have kept, but no, I gave it to my teacher instead to keep forever. And I learned where and why I would draw. It was a way for me to get my emotions out because I've never been good with words. English was my worst subject. Writing essays and trying to analyze what people are saying was not for me. I was always better with expressing myself through pictures and images versus words. Like, I'm gonna get personal right now, but my 7th grade year, something happened where I had to go see a therapist, and the only way that I would talk to her was if she would let me draw in the middle of our therapy sessions. And therapy is not for me. It really isn't. It never has been. I tried doing it 3 times. I'm not good at talking. Like I said, I'm better expressing myself through images. So that's when art really became important to me. It became important for me to say what I have to say, because no one knew what was wrong or what was going on or what I liked or who was important or what was important to me. For example, I had a boyfriend in middle school from 6th to 8th, and I would sketch and draw him all the time, and I did a really good portrait and after we broke up, I threw everything away, and I wish I had kept it because I want to see my progression from when I was in 8th grade to now, because back then is when I really got into painting. I do have a portrait of me and my brother that I'm going to show in a future video, because I am actually doing a portrait of me, my younger brother, and my younger sister for my mom. She already knows about it, so it doesn't really matter if I'm saying it now. For Mother's Day, I've been working on it for like the last 3 weeks, and I have the other one hanging up in my corner. Not somewhere where you guys can see, but it's in my corner. And just to see how far I've come from then and now is amazing. I also did art for my friends. I have a portrait of my best friend that I did when I was in 8th grade, and I had a group of friends in middle school, and I drew us all as teddy bears, and each teddy bear had different characteristics to it that would like describe us in each of the each of us in the friend group. I think I still have that somewhere. I'm a hoarder when it comes to my paintings and my drawings, so I probably have it somewhere. After 8th grade, I went to a vocational technical school where I could learn a trade, and that is where I learned graphic communications. So now all my drawings and sketches were for products or for ads or for flyers or t-shirt designs. But back then I carried a very large sketchbook with me everywhere. I know I still have that. And I did not realize the practicality of having a small sketchbook like I do now, because the smaller size is so travel durable, where my other one was torn to pieces because it was obviously not made to be a travel sketchbook. And that thing came with me everywhere, to every class, on every vacation. That was my sketchbook from freshman year up until halfway through sophomore year. And sophomore year is when I really started focusing on my digital art. I actually got jobs because of my digital art and my grades, because in a vocational technical school we were able to get cooperative education jobs where 1 week we do academics and 1 week we would do our shop that we chose. But instead of going to our shop classes, we would be able to go to work and get paid for what we're learning. From my junior year up until my senior year, I think I had 4 different co-op jobs. My first one I lost because I had failed physics, and that was to design boxes for a packaging company. My second one was a website design / photography for a Chevy dealership in my town, and I left there because it was not the appropriate workplace for someone my age, because the guys did not know how to behave or talk to me, and it made me very uncomfortable. My third one was also website design / advertising for a hardware store, and I actually got laid off because the owner of the company was a little old man, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to Florida to go golfing for a month and a half, so you can't be here for that month and a half." And I was just like, I can't be without a job for a month and a half. At that time I just got in my car and I had to pay my loan off, which was in my mom's name because I was too young to have a loan at that time. So I told him that I would be leaving permanently and I wouldn't be coming back when he came back. And that is when I got into printing. I actually learned printing from my favorite teacher, Mr. Starr. He would always get me a coffee and a bagel if I were to get all the jobs for my shop week done on the press. And he also was the instructor for the after school program that I helped with. I taught the 7th and 8th graders when I was a sophomore to my senior year a digital art project with their names and images of their favorite things. And then they'd also learn how to screen print a t-shirt and make a notebook, and how to cut it with the cutter, bind it, and all the finishing products for our notebook. But my co-op job was a digital printing job, and it was probably the best and worst year and a half of my life, because I was the youngest and only female on the floor, and my supervisor at the time, who was a recovering alcoholic, and all he knew how to do was yell and scream. So I was never comfortable going to him for anything. I love where I am now because I work with mostly women. Both of my supervisors are women. I'm still the youngest person there, but I have grown so much since working there. I learned not only, I just didn't want anything to do with it, and the week that I got fired, I had called out 3 days because I was looking for another job. I did not want to go back at all, and I actually cried tears of joy when they told me that I was being fired. I'm like, thank God, get me out of here. Where are the papers? Let me grab my stuff. I'm gone. Bye. And that's when I moved on to where I am now. Digital printing on a new machine. But I've also learned pad printing and screen printing. And I really enjoy going to work because I love the people I work with. And I love what I do. But it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. At this point, I had stopped drawing from sophomore year up until a year ago, actually, because it was hard for me to find something to draw about, something that I wanted to say and something that I loved and cared about or was heard about. I do have some drawings sporadically, but I wasn't doing it continuously like I had used to or how I am now. I had a moment last year where I was like, I need to do something with my life, do something to make me happy. And that's when I picked up a paintbrush again and did the portrait of my boyfriend. That took me 6 months because I took a 2-month hiatus and I didn't work on it at all. And it wasn't until probably December where I decided that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I had discovered drawing with Jazza, Bailey J, Happy D Artist, Robin Klontz, all these big YouTube artists, and I was just like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. If they can make it happen, so can I. And now that's all I'm working towards, is to make this my life, to make this my career, to make this a part of my everyday. Because even though I only do it for a couple hours right now, those couple hours is the only thing that I look forward to when I wake up in the morning. The weekends are spent at home, drawing, sketching, painting, doing what I love. And I will never let this feeling ever go away again. But now that we are coming towards the end of the sketch, let me talk about my sketch. It's a little goldfish, a black one, because I've always wanted a black goldfish. I actually have 2 animals that are black. One is a black cat whose name is Salem. He's my baby. He's only a year. And then there's Charlie, who is my boyfriend's, and he is a 7-year-old black pug. And I'm drawing this fish because I'm hoping in the next month or so I can get one. I'm just scared because I need to get an aquarium, one with a cover, so that way Salem does not try to eat it. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe down in the bottom. And if you want to check out more of my art and what I do daily, you can go to the links in the description to my Facebook, Instagram, personal Instagram, Twitter, and VERO, all at T's Creativity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.